I'm going to be honest, the Brock Purdy contract, now that the details have come out, freaking crack me up. What are they going to do with all the cap space they saved? And let's talk these new rivalry uniforms that the 49ers have been teasing for about a month now. What's up, everybody? Welcome in, Seth Floyd Show. Welcome into my garage where the door is shut. It's got to be 100 degrees outside. It's got to be 120 in my garage. So you might see me pass out live on video. That's cool. That's cool. Someone call an ambulance for me if you see me go down, okay? When I hit record on this video, 382 subscribers. You guys are awesome. Please keep sharing it with your friends, sharing it with your enemies. I'm trying to get to 500 by the time we hit football season in September. So, oh gosh, mathing is hard. We're at I need 118 in the next, it's May. So we got about 4 months till September. So let's get it done. Appreciate you guys. Guys, the contract details for Brock's contract came out, and by the day, it just looks like a better and better contract for the Niners. There's outs. There's obvious outs. It's essentially a 3-year deal, but there's even outs after the 2026 season, before the 2027 season. Now, it's a higher dead cap number than if they moved on from Brock after 2027. So it's easier to get out of the contract after 2027, but let's say for some reason in 25 and in 26, it's like a disaster, they could probably get out of it. And this doesn't even factor in that the cap is going to go up. But that doesn't make me laugh. It does a little bit because people freaking out. Clearly Brock took a somewhat of a discount because he could have held out and gotten $60 million if he wanted, because he has all the leverage. He took a team-friendly deal, even if I don't know if I'd call it a discount. A discount would have been like $45 million or $40 million, but he took a team-friendly deal, the way it's structured, everything. But he also won too. He gets paid up front a ton over the first 3 years. And people were freaking out, and clearly it's like a good deal for the Niners. But what's so funny is the comparison that was brought up a day or so ago. If you look at Brock Purdy, just make sure this works. Brock Purdy's contract compared to Sam Darnold's contract. Of course, Brock is due. He's going to make more money over the life of the deal. But this year, Brock's dead cap, or not his dead cap, his cap hit is like $9 million, and Sam Darnold's is like 13. And then next year, Brock's is like 23 or 22, 21, somewhere in there, or low 20s, and Sam Darnold's is like 33. It's just funny, man, because you had Seattle fans rejoicing that the Niners signed Brock to such a big deal, like it was going to kill him, when in reality, Sam Darnold's deal, I wouldn't call it a bad deal, but it's going to affect their cap way more than Brock's is going to. And Sam was the backup to Brock. Sam was the backup to Brock, guys. That's the irony of this whole situation, is that he couldn't, I don't know, whatever. I like Sam Darnold. He's had nothing but good praise for the Niners, and gives a ton of credit to Shanahan for kind of resurrecting his career, even though Kevin O'Connell really did that in Minnesota too, but he talks about how good Shanahan was for his development and his career before going to Minnesota. So anyway, so what are the Niners going to do with that cap space? Probably nothing dramatic, but I would hope that they make some kind of move. I hope they would make some kind of move to bolster something on the defense. Because here's where I'm at with this Niners team, okay? I feel there's definitely holes, but for the most part, I feel pretty good about the roster given how easy the schedule is. If we're playing last year's schedule, I'd be like, yeah, we're probably going to be in some trouble. But given how easy the schedule is supposed to be, I feel like we're going to get through. We're probably going to drop a game or two because of lack of depth, and we're playing so many rookies. But by the end of the season, those guys are not really rookies anymore. They'll have come along and should be playing better. But to feel really good going into this season, I would hope that they add on 2 pieces, okay? I don't have names necessarily of who they should add, because I don't really want them to sign a free agent, if I'm being honest. I'd rather them make some trade for a guy that, because anytime you're paying somebody on free agency, it's generally an overpay, and all the guys that are left are old or they have injury history, so whatever. But I'd love to see them add an interior D lineman, okay? And good golly, that safety position worries me right now. The interior D lineman case situation, it worries me because we're going to be relying so much, it feels like, on the rookies. I love Alfred Collins. I think Mike Hell is going to end up playing some inside in some situations. CJ West, I'm really high on. I thought he might have been the best pick of the draft for us, given the value. But it worries me because you don't know what you're getting with the rookies. You don't. And it's never a good thing to rely on them too much. So it just feels like you kind of need one more. I know we have a couple of guys who are vets, but no one that makes you feel like, oh, okay, like we're going to be okay. There's good leadership there. So those are my thoughts. At the safety position, I'm not even throwing out names of who you could go get, who you could sign. I think Justin Simmons is out there, Marcus Williams at safety. I don't know how they fit from a scheme standpoint. I don't know any of that. But good golly, we have, I've said good golly a handful of times. I feel like a schoolgirl or something. That's weird. You have last year's situation, you had Mustafa, who was very good. You feel very good about Mustafa, okay? But he's got the injury, and no one really knows. I know him and his mom are pretty high that he could be starting week 1. I don't know if that's realistic. I hope it is, but tore that thing in January. We don't know the extent of how bad the injury was, so I don't know. I'm not really sure what to make of it other than I'm nervous, okay? And then Jair Brown was not good last year. Now, I think a lot of people do agree, look, in 23 when he was a rookie under Steve Wilks, and I'm not a big Steve Wilks guy, okay, but Steve Wilks' bigger issue was in the run defense, not the pass defense. He's a DB guy, and the DBs played very well under Steve Wilks. And I thought Jair Brown, after Talanoa Hufanga tore his ACL in 23, Jair Brown had some good moments. He wasn't perfect, but he had some good moments and definitely had better moments in 23 than he did in 24. Now, that could be because of Nick Sorensen, and I think a lot of people are betting on that. And I think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch in the scouting department hopefully betting on that look, we're going to get Robert Saleh back, and Tig Brown's going to play a lot better. I hope so, because you're going to go, I don't even know who the other one's going to be. You signed a couple safeties this in free agency, so it's probably going to be one of those guys, Pinnock, and I can't even remember who else, because they were such low-level, special teamers more than anything. But now they're going to have to play. You're going to have Jair Brown at one spot. You're going to have one of these special teams guys at the other. You also, you have Marcus Sigel, who I think could be a dog. I loved that pick. And when you watch him, he ran a 4.37, he could be great, but he was a 5th-round pick or a 6th-round pick for a reason, whatever he was, for a reason. And so he's not going to start right away. I hope he does, because then that just means he's a freaking revelation, right? But I wouldn't plan on it. I hope long term he could be really good. So anyway, it feels like, man, if you could bring in one dude that you're just okay, I feel good. If Mustafa was healthy week 1, I would feel good. I'd be like, okay, on the back end we have someone that I trust for the most part, given the schedule we're playing. Okay, we don't play the Vikings this year. We don't have to face Justin Jefferson. We saw what he did to us last year. We don't have to face A.J. Brown. We don't have to face, I don't know, whoever. You do have to face the Rams. Hopefully Mustafa's back by the time we play the Rams. Who knows? But anyway, you guys get my point. I'd love to see them make a trade or add someone before camp that just kind of solidifies each of those spots. They probably won't. If I had to make a guess. But anyway, the Brock contract, funny. Lower cap hits than Sam Darnold. And listen, the Brock deal is going to be it's gonna look better each year as long as Brock plays good. It'll look better each year because the cap's gonna go up and other guys are gonna get paid. And I don't care, these guys are gonna get paid more than Brock, and the 90% of the guys that are gonna get paid in the next couple of years will not, and maybe 100% of them won't go to a Super Bowl or have as many playoff wins as Brock does. Which those are not exclusively quarterback stats. I get it, but for some reason when we judge quarterbacks, we judge them based off that, except for Brock. Brock's the one guy who doesn't get judged off his playoff wins. He just gets judged off of everyone being hurt and going 6-11, but then they want to forget the year before, so whatever. It's only a QB stat when the team doesn't do well. But when they do well and they go 13-4, no one wants to count it as a QB stat. Find that interesting. Anyway, whatever. The point is that deal is going to look really good as long as Brock plays well, as long as he does what, we expect him to play better. But you look at his last year, it really wasn't as bad. The reason it gets crapped on so much is because the record was 6-11. But if you look at his stats, his advanced metrics, he's still in the top 10 in a lot of categories. So whatever. Everyone who's listening, you agree with me because you're a 49er fan. If you disagree with me, nothing I'm saying is going to change your mind, because that's how we are. We just look to confirm our biases, which is fine. That's what sports are all about. But hopefully we're not in a situation where the Niners have to get out of this contract, where they could get in trouble with this contract. So like going into 27, his cap hit jumps quite a bit, up to 30-something, and then the year after that, it's like 50-something. So at some point, they're going to restructure if they don't cut him, which I don't think they're going to cut him because I believe in him. Just how do they restructure? Because you keep passing the buck and keep pushing it down the line, and you're going to have these massive cap hits, and you're going to kind of get into a situation, whatever. It could get weird, but we don't have to worry about that right now, and hopefully he just plays well, and we don't care. These rivalry unis that are being rumored, like I'm so annoyed that the Niners, the social media team dropped and made it sound like, oh, on schedule release date, we're also going to show you these new uniforms. And then it's just been nothing since then. They've teased and given hints of like the past. Obviously, they're not going to just like roll out the 94s, which I'm all in on. The 94s should be the full-time. Excuse me. Those should be the full-time uniforms, in my opinion. That's not what this is, but man, I would love if they were like, hey, by the way, we're going full-time 1994 unis, and then we also have these rivalry uniforms, the new thing that they're doing. It sounds like Nike designed them, but I'm sure they had input from the team. Nike has really dropped the ball lately, in my opinion. If you watch baseball, a lot of these City Connect uniforms are not my favorite. I actually kind of like the Giants City Connect uniform more than most. But whatever. Here's my thoughts on the Niners rivalry uniforms real quick. Please don't do black. I'm over the black. I'm over it. I didn't like it in 2017, whenever that was. I just thought it looked goofy. Whatever rivalry uniform they do, they need to have a helmet to match it. And I felt like the black did not match, the gold helmets didn't match the black helmet or black uniforms. So I thought that was bad. It looks like they could go that floating SF with no circle around it or no oval around it. I think that's sweet. Here's my thoughts. I want them to go, they could go a couple different routes. Stay away from the black. Stay away from the red on red. You just look like the Cardinals at that point. Do not go red on red, please. I'm anti, you look like a Pop Warner team. When you double up, I don't like that. I like the contrast. I want them to go red uniform, however designed, whatever changes you make, white pants, okay, you could do a stripe down the side, whatever, but some form of white pants, white helmet with the floating SF, red SF on the white helmet with a red stripe down the middle. That would look clean. That would look really clean. I would be all in on that. Another one might be people are talking about cream. The Niners on their website have talked about different colors a little bit and how they're just leading up to this release, and they've mentioned that kind of cream color. I would be cool with a cream color in the NFL for the Niners. I don't know exactly how it would look, but you could probably do some really cool stuff with it. If you go a cream color jersey, you could then go red pants and really change it up, as long as you have a cream stripe down the side or whatever. But I'm all in on and a cream helmet with a black or red floating SF would be cool. Anyway, I'm all in on that floating SF logo. I think it's dope. And I'm all in on a white helmet for the Niners, if we're being honest. I would love that. What I would love more than anything is for them to just release it so I can see it and I can just judge it irrationally and like everyone does and whatever. Probably won't rush out to buy one unless they're really cool, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I've also seen, I will say, last one, I don't want them to do black, but I think it was Damon Bruce was talking about it. Doing a black with white numbers. The problem with the black unis were there was no drop shadow. It was just red numbers with no outline or drop shadow against the black, and it looked weird. So do something make the numbers better on the black jersey, but then he also talked about doing the chrome gold helmet, and I like that. That with a black uniform, I could get on board with. I would be all in on that, but the chrome helmet is cool. We haven't really seen it in the NFL. You see it in college all the time, but in the NFL you haven't. So anyway, more than anything, please just release it so I can look at it and judge it. Maybe buy a jersey. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that contract for Brock is good. Seattle fans, I don't know what you're celebrating for. Sam Darnold has a bigger cap hit, and I will plant my flag. Sam Darnold is not going to be the same dude he was last year, given the circumstance. On the Seahawks, offensively at least. So That's all I got for you. Just a quick video. You guys are the best. Please hit subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies. And that's it. Go Niners.